excluded women farmers. And so we're going to a place where even if people need money, even if people are qualified to get into Ivy Leagues, race and gender is more important than your skill qualifications, the content of your character. It is not what Martin Luther King Jr. preached. I think this is a very, very slippery slope. I was very surprised to hear someone like Tammy Duckworth say something like this. She got a lot of blowback from a lot of people, not just on the right. And I think this is actually just the natural progression of identity politics. And I will say, just to put a cap on this, The View is 25 years old next year. We've only had one Asian American co-host this show. So does that mean that one of us should be leaving at some point because there's not enough representation? We're talking about, is identity politics more important than qualifications of a job? And I think that's a question going forward that the progressive left is going to have to reconcile.
Okay, and before we go, because we're going to go and take a break, eventually we're going to come back and talk about the black farmers.
So that was our good friend Meghan McCain from The View, absolutely obliviously owning herself in epic fashion. What she's complaining about there, if you didn't see the news yesterday or the last couple days, is that Senator Tammy Duckworth, one of the few people of Asian American descent in the Senate, in the United States Congress really, has said publicly that she wants to see Biden appoint somebody from Asian American or Pacific Island descent to his cabinet or to a cabinet level type appointment ASAP, and she's going to vote down non-equity appointments where she feels there's a qualified person from one of those backgrounds. And Meghan McCain has said, this is crazy, this is identity politics run amok, this is not what Martin Luther King wanted, as if Meghan McCain is the Martin Luther King scholar in the room, she's the Martin Luther King understander, and she's basically saying, you know, people should be judged on if they can do the job the best and if they're qualified and competent and not based on their identity or their experience. And she's like, well, you know, here on The View, we've had very few Asian women. And so shouldn't one of us leave to make room for an Asian woman? I think this is the end of progressive politics if they do it. And I'm like, Meghan, you're being ridiculous here. First of all, the elephant in the room is that you are where you are because of identity politics. You are Meghan McCain, host of The View, because of your dad. Meghan, you're a rich white woman who had a rich white father and an even richer white mother. And that fame from your father's time as a senator and a guy who ran for president, a big prominent guy, gave you all of these opportunities that many other people, a lot of white people, but especially a lot of people of color, never had. They never got their foot in the door like you did. And you are where you are because of your identity as a rich white daughter. That's the truth, Meghan. You are where you are because of identity politics. And let's also be really clear, because I want to nip this in the bud, both with The View in particular and wider society. Meghan is like, one of us should have to step aside, but what about qualifications? It's The View, Meghan. You're not, applying for a job at NASA. You're not applying for a job at a research facility. It's a talk show. And it's about the view of you people on the stage, of the women on the stage, bringing various perspectives to the issues of the day. Politics, culture, art, whatever they're talking about. And you have a diversity of women because beyond quote unquote qualifications, a diversity of women brings a diversity of views. And so in some places, diversity is a qualification. It's not the only qualification. It may not be the primary qualification, but diversity is a qualification. And so, yes, it likely is a problem that Asian Americans have only been represented once on The View as in a regular cast member sense in the 25 years or however long the show has been running. That's probably an issue. And I'm not suggesting they need to fire somebody, although, Meghan, if you're volunteering, I'd be happy to see you go. But maybe they should look at that when they hire the next person. If they expand the cast, if someone retires and they have, a new spot opening up, maybe they could put an Asian American or a Pacific Islander woman on the cast. Maybe they could. Why not? Why not? That matters. Representation matters. You might disagree with the specific strategy of Tammy Duckworth. You might say it's too harsh of a strategy. She should be more nuanced. I actually agree with her, but reasonable people can have reasonable disagreements. But she is not wrong in noting that representation matters in politics. It should not be used cynically to cut down on legitimate criticisms of bad picks. For instance, people used identity cynically to defend Neera Tanden, who was an awful pick. But in general, having people from a variety of backgrounds to bring a variety of perspectives is a good thing. And Meghan McCain doesn't understand that because as a rich white lady whose daddy ran for president and got her all of these jobs, she doesn't see that identity has given her everything.